Hello, everyone. I'm Michael, host of The Specialist, and I think we got off on the wrong foot last time. You see, I was informed that one of the reasons why my entire crew left me during the first episode was because of the rather violent actions that I took to one Captain Marvel DVD case. I'm fully aware of why people would be upset with this type of action. So, to clear things up, I want to say one thing. I love Wonder Woman. I think it's one of the best superhero movies of the 2010s. You know, it's funny. Even though Wonder Woman is by and large the better film in comparison to Captain Marvel, that movie made $1 billion, whereas Wonder Woman only made $823 million. It makes one wonder why the better movie made less money than the significantly worse one. And it's not the only example of this happening either. So,
that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be looking at box office numbers and why certain films tend to do better than others. So, with that being said, welcome to episode 2 of The Specialist of Media. And this time around, if anyone decides to interrupt me, well, say hello to my little friend!
Her Campus is a national organization. We are an online magazine, and our main target audience is actually college women. Our club writes weekly articles, and they're put out on the Her Campus website. We do campus-wide events, and we just really have a lot of hands-on learning opportunities for the school. I'm really passionate about it because I think Her Campus is great, and it highlights the hard work that women do.
Sorry, I blacked out for a second there. That was supposed to happen. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? So, movies are expensive. Most films today cost millions of dollars to make, market, and distribute. This is the exact reason why box office performance is extremely important to a film's success, because depending on the budget, it could be the thing that determines whether or not a film turns into a profit. So, how does the box office work in particular? Starts with ticket sales. The box office will track how many tickets are sold, and then the revenue is counted from how much money was made from the tickets. A portion of the money will go to the theater owners, while the rest will go to the studio who distributed the film. From my research, the split is usually around 50%, but it does depend on things like contracts and so. Once all of that is settled, we can see if the movie is successful. This starts with breaking even, which essentially boils down to making the budget back. Kinda. You see, the budget only accounts for how much it costs to actually produce the film, shoot it, getting the actors, shooting it, But what it doesn't account for is the marketing and distribution of the film. Because of this, it is estimated that a movie needs to gross around 2 to 3 times the production budget in order to begin to turn a profit. That would mean if a film were to cost, say, $100 million to produce, the film would need to make around $300 million in order to be officially considered breaking even. Likewise, films that cost, say, $250 million to make would need to make over a whopping $750 million in order to be considered profitable. Yikes. At least most studios don't actually make movies for that much. Ain't that right, Walt? Well, now that we know how the process works, we can start taking a look at some box office numbers and see what movies were successful or not. Let's start by looking at the top 5 highest grossing films of all time. This should be fun. If they made so much money, they have to be great, right? At the number 5 spot, we start with nostalgia. I mean Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Distributed by Disney in 2015, this was the triumphant return to the Star Wars franchise after the infamous prequel trilogy. It was also one of the only 2 Star Wars movies released by Disney to even be considered good. And hell, even that has been debated over the years. I mean, for a return to the series after a decade, it was indeed triumphant. But in retrospect, its existence is now tied to what people consider to be the worst era of Star Wars in history. And granted, while people did say that about the prequel trilogy, nostalgia. Okay, well, that was kind of underwhelming, but what about the number 4 spot? It's Titanic! Wow. Arguably the most divisive film in history. You either love this movie or you f***ing hate it. There is zero in between. I've never seen it. The movie did have the benefit of being re-released a few times since its launch in 1997, but even when it released, it still made $2 billion on its own, so yeah. Moving on, we have Avatar: The Way of... Oh my god. Ugh. Alright. So, Avatar 2 is the sequel to the first Avatar. It follows Jake Sully and his new family, and they meet a new tribe of Na'vi. Who f***ing cares? Genuinely, who cares? They do some interesting things here in terms of the story. Like, there's more of a focus on Jake's children. He has kids now. Cool.
Can you feel the love tonight?
But just like the first one, the story kind of takes a backseat to the visuals, which are still state of the art, don't get me wrong, but so are the visuals for the first film, and at some point, if this franchise does continue, which it will, you have to wonder if the visuals alone are going to be enough to keep carrying this franchise. Anyway, up at number 2 is Avengers Endgame, and finally I get to talk about a movie that isn't directed by James Cameron. This movie was the conclusion to the 10-year Infinity Saga of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's also the beginning of the downfall of the MCU. I mean, Endgame had one very simple task: end the saga. And it did that tremendously. While certain parts of the movie may drag, I mean, the film is 3 hours after all, and some of the decisions made are, let's just go with questionable, this was the epic conclusion that Marvel advertised it to be. And the number 1 highest grossing movie of all time is Avatar. But you already knew that. It's fine. Can I move on now? I mean, damn, this list sucks. I mean, you would think that the highest grossing movies of all time would have an unprecedented quality to them. And in some aspects, that's kind of true. But for the most part, these films are all either average or very divisive amongst people. I mean, even when you expand it to the top 10, it doesn't get any better. I mean, The Lion King remake from 2019 is number 10 for f***'s sake. The Lion King from 2019. Why? Let's not even worry about that right now because I don't want to focus on all that stuff. 2024 is the focus, and now that the year is over and we're well into 2025, let's take a look at some of the films that truly excelled this year at the box office. Let's start off with the movie that led the pack, Inside Out 2. A movie that really surpassed my expectations in terms of both quality and performance in theaters. I mean, I talked about Gladiator 2 being a worthy sequel in the last episode, but Inside Out 2 now that's a sequel. They did everything that you're supposed to do in a sequel. Expand the world, introduce new characters and situations for the cast. And it did live up to the original. It even became the highest grossing animated film of all time. Huh. That's strange. Sorry about that, guys. That's the breaking news alarm. I wonder what happened. Let me take a look at my trusty Dusty phone here. I'm technically not supposed to have this in here. Holy sh! Okay, I know we're talking about 2024 films, but this just deserves talking about. A Chinese animated film just broke the record for highest grossing animated film ever, and it's actually still rising the ranks. The film in question is Niza 2? Niha 2. Nai Ja Ni Hao. Jonathan. Nissan Altima. No, I am not saying it like that. Do you want me to die? I could lose my career.
Nacha. It's Nacha.
Is Naja?
Na.
Na?
Cha.
Sha. Naja. Naja 2! The film has already surpassed the box office of Spider-Man No Way Home with $1.92 billion worldwide. That's impressive. Like, very, very impressive. This is a huge win, not just for China, but for Disney haters all around the world. Why is everyone looking at me? Okay, so even with the top 10 segment, all we've done is talk about success in this episode so far. So let's talk about some flops. Joker fully ado. Joker 2. Not only apparently sucked, but it was also a massive flop, barely making back its production budget with $207 million worldwide. And if you remember anything that I said earlier, which you should, make sure you're listening, then you know how badly this film actually potentially did. Red 1. Shitty Christmas movie, shitty box office, only about $182 million on a $250 million budget. For what? The Rock? No, because seriously, did the cast balloon the budget of this movie? Because I see nothing that would warrant that much money on a Christmas movie. The special effects suck. You can definitely tell it's green screen. Amazon, Rock, just stop. Please. Next up, we have Megalopolis, or as I like to call it, Megaflopolis! The last one is actually kind of upsetting, as the movie in question this time around is Transformers 1. The movie made $129 million on a budget of $75 million, but considering marketing, the film would have at least needed to make $150 million just to break even, which it didn't do. And it's actually quite a shame because this movie is actually freaking awesome. I mean, it follows the fall of the friendship of Orion Pax and D16, leading to their rebirths as Optimus Prime and Megatron. It's actually really compelling and fun to watch at the same time. If only the marketing didn't make it look like the most basic kids movie ever. Yeah, I'm probably not allowed to say this on camera, but f*** you, Paramount. F*** you for allowing this movie to fail. But that being said, thank you for making Peak twice this year. And speaking of which, now I wasn't going to do episode 2 without touching on this story. Over the holidays, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Mufasa the Lion King were locked in a head-to-head war, releasing on the same exact day, and after a brutal fight, we finally have a winner, which is none other than, drumroll please, Mufasa the Lion King. I'm killing somebody. I'm killing somebody. No, don't stop me. Don't stop me. No, no, no. Get away from me. All right. Whatever. When we come back from break, we'll move on to our game show segment, featuring co-EP Chris Sperano. So stay tuned or whatever. Ugh. Does anyone have any liquor in this place? Jeez.
Spicy was created in order to give us Caribbeans a way of expressing ourselves. In the Caribbean, there's multiple ways of showcasing talent, and dancing is one of them.
We have a bunch of different ethnicities and everything in here, so it's a Caribbean dance team, so we definitely are inspired by the Caribbean dance hall and stuff like that, and all different types of Caribbean dancers.
We go out together. Like, even if we're going to a party, they play our song, we'll do it together. Like, but we do like a lot of fun stuff together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Outside of Spicy. And it's just really like us. Like, we are like a family. Like, it is.
There's so many different personalities on the team.
Giving very much family.
Vibrant. Joking. Like, we joke a lot.
Spicy will accept you, and it's just a great team. So if you're looking to join, then yeah.
Okay, so what do you think about Michael's show and him as a producer?
I mean, yeah, he's a good worker for sure. Other than him degrading me every day, he's a pretty good guy, I'd say. But I think he could fully get the job done. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the show's good. It's entertaining. However, I don't think Michael's that good of a person. I see him like spike his coffee in the parking lot usually, like before coming in, and I saw him like stealing some camera equipment, and I saw him like on the phone. He's like talking about like pawning it off at like the local pawn shop or something. Just kind of a scumbag overall.
Yeah, I think the show's going to turn out pretty well. You know, Michael's he's an interesting guy. He's got some hot takes. He's one thing I know about Michael is he's very loud. You can hear him from about 14 miles away. I can see why they call him the specialist. He's pretty special.
I'm very blessed to be a part of this crew and be on the show. Very, very awesome. Michael, very sweet. Everyone seems to be having a really great time here. So, yeah.
It's horrible, all of it. I don't get paid enough for this. Like, he is a hassle to deal with all the time. I'm trying to figure out how to just work the camera, and I have to just babysit him basically. And like, you know, just like the gun was enough. Like, I'm tired, honestly.
The you saying about me, you little?
I'll say Michael is a character. I'm gonna lie. Very crazy guy. Also very entertaining. I would say show right now 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 could be better. Less violence. I see that's a lot of hostility in the air.
If he keeps up with these violent outbursts towards the crew, we might have to cancel the show.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Right now I'm joined by a good friend of mine. He was the host of the evening show last semester and is the current co-executive producer of PSTV. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Chris Barano.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
Why is no one clapping?
Well, if we had an audience, you know, let's see. Well, we got 2 cameramen here. There we go. There we go.
That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
So you like MILFs?
MILFs?
So tell me, do you consider yourself a movie buff?
I think to an extent, yes. Yeah, I do like watching movies when I get the time.
So what type of movies are you interested to? Like what gets you into theater?
Oh goodness, I love comedy movies. Love comedy movies because that's the one genre that is able to make people laugh. You know, people have, you know, lives. People have lives. You know, they go to work each day and they have struggles. But when they go see a comedy movie, they're just able to smile, and that's what's so nice about it is that it puts people into a good mood, and I love that dearly.
Who would you say your favorite comedy actor is per se?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. One of them being Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase, who was the original member, or cast member, excuse me, of SNL. He was there until 1975. I believe he left in 1978, and he went on to do many films. He did Fletch. He did all the vacation movies. He did Funny Farm. He did, it's not coming to me, the one with Goldie Hawn. Foul Play. That's what it was. He did so many movies, and just a talented comedian, very quick with jokes, and he's also very good with physical comedy.
I gotta be honest, the only movie I recognize out of that whole bunch was probably Foul Play.
Foul
And
Play.
I haven't even seen it. Obviously, the topic of the show is box office. What do you think, in your opinion, makes a successful film or not?
Well, Michael, I think there's many aspects to what makes a successful film. You know, first off is the acting. People want to see good acting. They don't want to see bad acting. Secondly is who is starring in the picture, right? It's all about advertising. A movie production is a business, so they're going to get the best of the best actors and actresses in there. For example, Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman is someone that probably most everybody knows. Wonderful actor, won many accolades and awards, and if she's in a movie, people are going to go see her. Same thing with George Clooney, you know, a great actor. People are going to go see him. Same thing with Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, any of those people. So it's about who's in the film. Also, which is a good point that I'll bring up, is the movie trailer, right? When you think about it, right? And this is a huge, huge thing that editors must master, is how do we condense the entire movie down into 1 minute and 30 seconds?
Without spoiling it
entirely. Without spoiling it entirely. If they're able to successfully do that and attract people to come to the movies, then that's going to make the box office successful.
So, another interesting question I just thought of, do you think that streaming has a lot to do with the current trajectory of box office, and do you think it's affecting the way people see movies and not making them want to go to the theater anymore?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are now living in an era that's post-COVID-19, right? COVID-19 had people quarantined inside their house, which meant that they couldn't go to the cinema to watch pictures. Now that they're home, they're able to watch films on television, you know, without having to go someplace, without having to make the effort to go in a car and to drive 5, 10, 15, 20 miles to their local movie theater.
It's convenience.
It's convenience, absolutely. The trajectory of it is that the film companies are now starting to slowly creep towards streaming. A lot of the pictures now that we see are just being streamed. They don't even offer them being shown in movie theaters. They just don't. I do think that's sad because it is an experience going to the movie theater. You know, you could go on a date with somebody, you could go with your friends, your family. You can get the popcorn, the water, and then go with the audience.
You get water at the movie theater? Last question, what's your preference? Do you prefer a movie theater or do you prefer the convenience of sitting at your home streaming?
Oh, absolutely the movie theater. Absolutely. It's just a joy to go there and see a movie on a big screen. I mean, think about that, right? Say a new action movie comes out, like a Fast and the Furious movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which would you rather see that on? Would you rather see that on your little television screen? Or would you want to see that on a huge big screen with I don't know, what do you call the sound?
Surround
IMAX?
sound. Or IMAX, yeah.
IMAX, surround sound, any of those sort of things.
I mean, I don't like Fast and Furious, so.
I hope it does turn around because we are now 5 years past COVID-19 and people are now definitely starting to get back into the way things used to be. And I think by 2029, 2030, I'm very confident that more people will start to be going to the movie theaters again.
Now let's get to why I brought you here. You like games?
Specifically what type? Video games or?
Do you like games?
Oh,
answer the question.
Yes, I do.
All right, well, I have a game for you. I call it Bank or Tank. Let me do that the other way around because it looks more natural. Bank or Tank. Do you
Bank
know?
Or tank?
Yeah. Do you know what the rules are?
I do not.
What the are you doing here? So, rules of the game are simple. I'm going to name a film.
Okay.
And you're going to tell me whether it banked or tanked. Bank means it made money, turned a profit. Tank means it did not.
Well, that sounds easy enough.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay.
So let's start with a simple one. Let's go all the way back to 2004. Shrek 2, bank or tank?
I'm going to have to say bank.
You're right, it banked.
It banked.
Kraven the Hunter, bank or tank?
Kraven the Hunter, bank or tank? I would say tank.
You're right, it tanked. Big ol' Madam Web, bank or tank?
I'm going to say tank.
It was also a tank. Let's move on to an animated feature film.
Animated, okay.
Again, I forgot I brought up Shrek 2. Despicable Me 4, bank or tank?
Despicable. Well, you can't go wrong with Despicable Me. I would say bank.
You're right, that banked.
It banked.
Moving into The Wild Robot from DreamWorks, bank or tank?
Now, I've seen the ad for this. It does seem like a feel-good story, but other than that, I haven't heard anything. So I would say tank.
It actually banked.
Did it bank?
It did make a considerable amount of money back. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. Moving on, we have A Quiet Place Day 1, first horror film of the list, bank or tank?
A Quiet Place Day 1. I would say that would bank.
I'm sorry to say, but it was a bank. It was a bank.
Oh my God, Michael, you almost gave me a heart attack.
Yeah, that's the goal. We're going to go back now, back to 2011.
2011.
We have M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender. Bank or tank?
That's a bank.
You're actually right.
That's a bank.
You're actually right. Next up, we have Argyle. I don't even know if you remember that this film came out, but that's not the point. Bank or tank?
Tank.
It was a tank.
It was a tank.
Big ol' flop like a fish. Next, we have Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Oh.
Bank or tank?
That's a bank.
Unfortunately, it actually was a tank.
Was it a tank? Really? Mad Max Furiosa?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Now we have Captain Marvel, bank or tank?
Well, if we look back into the first episode, if I'm not mistaken, I think you had a Captain Marvel DVD that you smashed with a hammer.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm going to say it tanked.
I wish it did. So, that's actually the end of the game.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't counting your score, but we're going to put it up right there. And, yeah, so, I didn't have anything prepared. So what I'm going to do is, your prize, you're going to get this nice little laser gun for laser tag.
Wow.
I don't know if it's actually used for laser tag. I don't even know what it is. But
look at this. It looks like Buck Rogers, huh?
Yeah, I totally didn't steal it from a prop closet. Anyway.
Hey, it's you know what, Michael? It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
It's the thought that counts.
Look, I'm sorry I'm broke. All right? Wow. That was not the game. Obviously, Chris was amazing, as usual. But just the topic in general. Like, geez. The unfortunate reality of the movie industry is that a lot of the times, the best movies don't make the most money at the box office, as bigger studios, regardless of the quality of their product, will most likely make the most money each year. That being said, that's all the time we have for this episode. I'd like to once again shout out co-EP Chris Sperano, Bruce Carlin, John Little, executive producer Connor Ryan, and my wonderful crew who totally didn't stay because I threatened their lives. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in episode 3. Good night, everyone.